Forces. A new article is detailing the challenges faced by Americans' military. Michael Gordon writes in the Wall Street Journal that the U.S. is not yet ready for the era of great power conflict with Russia and China. And there are major obstacles in the way. The director of national intelligence testified specifically about threats from China on Wednesday.
Please remember to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Luke 21:34. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, so that day come upon you unaware. For as a snare shall they come on them that dwell on the face of the earth. Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. So to recap the biblical timeline that I covered in previous videos, Israel goes into slavery, also known as the Great Tribulation. That happened already. The next thing to take place is the powers of heaven are shaken, which are about weather pattern disruptions. If you've been watching the news, it happens almost every night. Some days are bigger than others. They have the masses talking about climate change, refusing to admit that the Most High has started the execution of his plan to destroy the final kingdom. The next thing to happen is the Great War. The Great War is about the destruction of Babylon and the Antichrist. Let's read Jeremiah 51, starting with verse 60. So Jeremiah wrote in a book all the evil that should come on Babylon, even all these words that are written against Babylon. And Jeremiah said to Sariah, when thou come to Babylon and shalt see, and shalt read all these words, then thou shalt say, the Most High has spoken against this place to cut it off, that none shall remain in it, neither man nor beast, but it shall be desolate forever. And it shall be, when thou hast made an end of reading this book, that thou shalt bind a stone to it, and cast it in the midst of Euphrates. And thou shalt say, thus shall Babylon sink, and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon her, and they shall be weary. And thus far are the words of Jeremiah. Though I understand the fascination with Babylon, do not love what the Most High plans to destroy. Babylon will sink, and anyone in love with her. The million-dollar question is, do you believe the Most High will destroy Babylon? Pastors and leaders, from what I've seen, have not prepared their listeners for what will take place. They have not prepared their listeners for the war. I've heard many things like Babylon is everywhere, and where can you go? The destruction that will take place, most people living in Babylon will not survive. Let's read Revelation 18:10. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. If Babylon is everywhere, where are these people standing? Jeremiah 51:13. O that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures, thine end is come, in the measure of thy covetousness. Babylon is not everywhere, but her influence is everywhere. But this landmass in particular is in trouble. If you look around, you know who has the most influence over the world. Jeremiah 51:50. Ye that have escaped the sword, go away, and stand not still. Remember the Most High afar off, and let Jerusalem come into your mind. Escape the sword means those that were able to get out before the war, or probably in the early stages of the war. If you're able to leave, do not look back. Luke 17:32. Remember Lot's wife. Now back to the timeline. During the war, Yeshua or Christ comes to destroy the Antichrist. As I stated in my last video, the Antichrist is not one person, they are an entire bloodline. They are the children of Edom, also the daughter of Babylon. These are many of your leaders that you see today. The next thing to happen is the sons of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob are gathered. Let's read Matthew 24:30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. So we see Israel is gathered after Christ or Yeshua comes back, according to Matthew. It's pretty obvious the next thing to happen, but let's find other sources to really cement the timeline down. 1 Thessalonians 4:16. For the king himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, and with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of Elohim, and the dead in Christ or Yeshua shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the king in the air. So shall we be ever with the king. These are the verses people use for the rapture, but we know the rule. We don't guess. We don't follow people because they have expensive suits. We don't follow because they happen to be standing in front of a room. We read for ourselves and we get confirmation from other sources. So let's read Isaiah 27:12. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Most High shall beat off from the channel of the river unto the stream of Egypt, and ye shall be gathered one by one, O you children of Israel. And it shall come to pass in that day that the great trumpet shall be blown, and they shall come which were ready to perish in the land of Assyria, and the outcasts in the land of Egypt, and shall worship the Most High in the holy mountain of Jerusalem. When you compare Matthew, Isaiah, and Thessalonians, you see it's the same event. Matthew says a great sound of a trumpet. Thessalonians says the trump of Elohim, and Isaiah says the great trumpet shall be blown. It's the same event. This is all talking about Yeshua's return and Israel being gathered. Matthew says the elect shall be gathered. Thessalonians says the dead in Christ shall rise first and be collected with those that are on the earth. Isaiah says you shall be gathered one by one, O you children of Israel. There is no rapture. Thessalonians, Matthew, and Isaiah are all talking about Israel being gathered. We don't fight what it says. We read and we obey. When it says in Isaiah, ready to perish, it means that those that are ready to die from the war. That war is going to be hot and heavy. And there can be many places where people are hiding, just trying to survive the war. And that's when the great trumpet will be blown. Otherwise, all flesh would perish. Jeremiah 50 verse 3. For out of the north there come up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall move, they shall depart, both man and beast. In those days and at that time, says the Most High, the children of Israel and the children of Judah shall come together, weeping, and they shall seek the Most High their Elohim. Jeremiah agrees with Matthew. A nation comes against Babylon. Then verse 4 of Jeremiah 50, the children of Israel and the children of Judah come together, which means they are gathered. For those who don't know, the children of Israel are Reuben, Simeon, Ephraim, and the rest of the 10 tribes, while Judah are the tribes of Judah and Benjamin. Together, these are the 12 tribes of Israel. These are the 2 sticks in Ezekiel and the 2 witnesses in Revelation. I will cover in another video. Jeremiah 50 verse 18. Therefore thus saith the Most High of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, Behold, I will punish the king of Babylon and his land, as I have punished the king of Assyria. And I will bring Israel again to his habitation, and he shall feed on Carmel and Bashan, and his soul shall be satisfied upon Mount Ephraim and Gilead. First Babylon is punished, then Israel is gathered. Isaiah 13:19. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when Elohim overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Isaiah 14 verse 1. For the Most High will have mercy on Jacob, and yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Most High for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Most High shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from thy hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. The entire chapter of 13 of Isaiah is about the Great War. And in chapter 14 is a continuation talking about Israel being gathered. Chapter 14 says Israel shall rule over their oppressors. It says they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. It means Israel will go from being servants to having servants. At this point, many should realize that the masses preaching regarding heaven, the Antichrist, and the rapture may not be right. I really suggest you read the scriptures for yourself. Now let's make it more clear about Israel being gathered. It is a main hinge of the Old Testament. There's many verses about Israel being gathered. Jeremiah 31:10. Hear the word of the Most High, you nations, and declare in an isle afar off, and say that he that scattered Israel will gather him, and keep him as a shepherd doth his flock. Deuteronomy 30 verse 3. Then the Most High will turn thy captivity, and have compassion on thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whither the Most High had scattered thee. Nehemiah 1 verse 9. But if you turn unto me and keep my commandments and do them, though there were of you cast out unto the outermost parts of heaven, yet will I gather them from there, and I will bring them unto the place that I have chosen to set my name there. Zechariah 10:10. I will bring them out of the land of Egypt, and gather them out of Assyria, and I will bring them unto the land of Gilead and Lebanon, and place shall not be found for them. Ezekiel 39:23. And the heathen, when it says heathen, it means the other bloodlines, not of the children of Israel, shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, but they trespassed against me. Therefore I hid my face from them, and gave them into the hand of their enemies. So fell they all by the sword. Ezekiel 39:24. According to their uncleanness and according to their transgression I have done unto them, and hid my face from them. Therefore thus saith the Most High, now will I bring again the captivity of Jacob, and have mercy on the whole house of Israel, and will be jealous for my holy name, after they have borne their shame and all their trespasses, where they have trespassed against me, where they dwelt safely in their land, and none made them afraid. When I have brought them again from the people, and gathered them out of their enemies' lands, and am sanctified in them in the sight of many nations. If you have seen my last couple of videos, it should be clear that Israel going into slavery is the Great Tribulation. The powers of heaven will be shaken, like snow in California, which leads to the war. Yeshua shows up during the war and fights with Babylon. Then Israel is gathered. Lamentations 4:22. The punishment of thine iniquity, O daughter of Zion, he will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. When he says he will no more carry thee away captive, we are in the process of wrapping up the final punishment of the children of Israel. This is the last time Israel will be slaves to anyone. So let's read Jeremiah 16:14. Therefore, behold, the days come, says the Most High, that it shall no more be said, the Most High liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Most High liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all lands where he hath driven them. And I will bring them again unto their land that I gave unto their fathers. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Most High. They shall fish them, and I will send for many hunters. They shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rock. When it says, I will be no more known as the Most High that brought up the children out of the land of Egypt, but the Most High that brought up the children from the land of the north and from all places where he drove them, it means this gathering will make what happened in Egypt look small. When you read the Old Testament, the Most High identifies himself as he who brought the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But he said, you will no more know me as that, meaning this next event to take place will make that small in comparison. When it says, I will hunt them from every mountain and hills and holes, these are the places where people will be hiding themselves from the war. Luke 21:36. Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. Watch ye therefore, and pray that you are accounted worthy to escape